While Americans spend billions on anti-aging supplements and expensive biohacking gadgets, there are places on Earth where people routinely live to 100 without ever stepping foot in a gym or taking a single vitamin. In these regions, called blue zones, heart disease is practically unknown. Dementia affects less than 5% of the population, and people in their 90s still tend gardens and climb mountains. The secret isn't what you'd expect. It's not about perfect genes, expensive treatments, or extreme diets. The real answer is so simple that most people completely overlook it. Today, I'll show you exactly what these communities do differently and how you can apply their wisdom starting today. Let's start with the facts that'll blow your mind. There are 5 places on Earth where people live dramatically longer than anywhere else. Dan Buettner, the researcher who coined the term blue zones, identified these regions after studying global longevity data for decades. We're talking about Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California. Here's what makes these places extraordinary. In Okinawa, women have the longest disability-free life expectancy in the world. They're not just living longer, they're living better. In Sardinia, men reach age 100 at rates 10 times higher than in the United States. The Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica has the world's lowest rates of middle-age mortality. People in Icaria have about 20% lower rates of cancer, 50% lower rates of heart disease, and almost no dementia. Even Loma Linda, surrounded by typical American lifestyle, has residents living 4 to 10 years longer than other Americans. Now here's where it gets interesting. When scientists first studied these populations, they assumed it had to be genetics. That made sense, right? These people must have won the genetic lottery. But when researchers dug deeper, they discovered something surprising. Genetics only account for about 20 to 30% of longevity. The other 70 to 80% comes from lifestyle and environment. Think about that for a second. Your daily choices matter more than your DNA when it comes to how long and how well you live. This completely flips the script on everything we've been told about aging. What's even more fascinating is what these blue zone populations don't do. They don't count calories obsessively. They don't follow strict workout regimens. They don't take handfuls of supplements. They don't practice intermittent fasting or follow ketogenic diets. Most have never heard of biohacking or longevity protocols. Instead, their secrets are hidden in plain sight. When researchers spent years living among these populations, they discovered patterns that had nothing to do with the health trends dominating our culture today. The Okinawans have a saying, "Hara hachi bu," which means eat until you're 80% full. Sardinian shepherds walk 5 miles a day across hilly terrain without thinking of it as exercise. In Nicoya, 3 generations live under one roof, and everyone has a clear sense of purpose. The more scientists studied these communities, the more they realized that longevity isn't about individual optimization. It's about community, purpose, and natural daily rhythms that have been practiced for centuries. These aren't life hacks or shortcuts. They're sustainable ways of living that create health as a byproduct. Here's what really challenges our modern thinking. While we're obsessing over the latest superfood or trying to hack our biology with cold plunges and red light therapy, blue zone residents are focused on completely different things. They prioritize relationships over achievements. They move naturally throughout the day. Instead of cramming exercise into 1 hour, they eat together, work together, and grow old together in ways that most of us have completely lost. The research reveals something profound about human nature. We've overcomplicated health and longevity to the point where we've missed the fundamentals. Blue zones prove that the fountain of youth isn't found in a laboratory or a supplement bottle. It's embedded in how we structure our daily lives, how we connect with others, and how we find meaning in simple, consistent actions. This isn't about going backward or rejecting modern medicine. It's about understanding what actually moves the needle on longevity and what's just expensive noise. The blue zones offer us a roadmap that's been tested not in clinical trials, but across generations of real human lives. Now, here's where blue zones reveal something that modern science is just beginning to understand. The strongest predictor of longevity isn't diet or exercise, it's the quality of your relationships. and having a clear sense of purpose. This isn't feel-good philosophy. This is hard science that shows how social connections literally change your biology at the cellular level. In Okinawa, they have a system called Moai. It's a group of friends who commit to each other for life. These aren't casual friendships or networking connections. Moai members meet regularly, support each other through life's challenges, and create a safety net that lasts from childhood to death. Research shows that people with strong Moai live longer, have lower stress hormones, and recover faster from illness. The biological impact is remarkable. When you have deep social connections, your body produces less cortisol, the stress hormone that accelerates aging. Your immune system functions better. Your blood pressure stays lower. Even your genes respond differently. Scientists have discovered that loneliness triggers inflammatory responses that damage your cardiovascular system and brain. Strong relationships literally turn off these aging pathways. But it's not just about having people around. It's about the quality of those connections. In blue zones, relationships are built on mutual support, shared purpose, and genuine care. People know they matter to others and that others depend on them. This creates what researchers call social cohesion, where individual well-being is tied to community well-being. Compare this to modern life, where the average American reports having fewer than 2 close friends. We've replaced deep relationships with social media connections and busy schedules. We live in houses with walls between us and our neighbors. We retire and suddenly lose the social structure that work provided. The result is an epidemic of loneliness that's literally killing us. The second piece of the puzzle is what the Japanese call Ikigai, your reason for being. In Okinawa, people don't retire in the way we understand it. They continue contributing to their community well into their 90s and beyond. They have a clear sense of why they get up each morning, whether it's tending a garden, teaching children, or caring for family members. This sense of purpose has measurable effects on longevity. People with strong Ikigai have lower rates of Alzheimer's disease, better cardiovascular health, and increased resistance to stress. Purpose gives your brain a reason to stay sharp and your body a reason to stay strong. Without it, both deteriorate much faster. Here's what's fascinating about purpose in blue zones. It's not about grand ambitions or career achievements. It's often simple, daily contributions that connect you to something larger than yourself. A 95-year-old Okinawan woman might find purpose in making traditional crafts for her grandchildren. A Sardinian man in his 80s might find meaning in sharing stories with younger generations. The key is that purpose is embedded in community. Your reason for being isn't just personal fulfillment. It's about how you serve others and contribute to the collective good. This creates what psychologists call eudaimonic well-being, a deep sense of meaning that's more powerful for longevity than simple happiness or pleasure. Modern research confirms what blue zones have always known. People with strong social connections live 50% longer than those who are socially isolated. Having a sense of purpose reduces your risk of death by 15%. And significantly lowers your risk of dementia. These aren't small effects. They're as powerful as quitting smoking or exercising regularly. The tragedy is that we've designed a society that systematically destroys both community and purpose. We move away from family for jobs. We live in suburbs where we barely know our neighbors. We retire and lose our sense of contribution. We've prioritized individual achievement over collective well-being, and the cost is measured in years of life lost. Blue zones show us a different way. They prove that longevity isn't just about what you put in your body or how you move. It's about who you're connected to and why you matter to the world around you. Here's where blue zones completely flip our understanding of exercise and fitness. While we're obsessing over high-intensity workouts, expensive gym memberships, and fitness trackers, people in blue zones are living longer through what researchers call natural movement. They're not exercising in the way we think about it. They're simply living in environments that require constant, gentle physical activity throughout the day. In Sardinia, Shepherds in their 80s and 90s still walk 5 miles daily across mountainous terrain. They're not training for marathons or following workout plans. They're simply doing what they've always done, tending their flocks, moving their animals to fresh pasture, and navigating rocky hillsides. This is an occasional exercise crammed into a 1-hour window. It's all-day movement that's woven into the fabric of their lives. The same pattern shows up everywhere you look in blue zones. Okinawan elders tend gardens well into their 90s, squatting, bending, and lifting throughout the day. Costa Rican centenarians chop wood, carry water, and walk to visit neighbors. Greek islanders climb hills to reach their homes and hand-wash their clothes. None of this feels like exercise to them. It's just life. This reveals something profound about human biology that we've completely lost sight of. Our bodies weren't designed for the modern pattern of sitting all day and then trying to compensate with intense exercise sessions. We evolved for consistent, low-level activity punctuated by periods of rest. Blue zone populations live closer to this natural rhythm, and their bodies respond with remarkable longevity. The science behind this is fascinating. When you move gently throughout the day, you keep your metabolism active, your joints mobile, and your cardiovascular system engaged without triggering the stress responses that come with intense exercise. Your muscles maintain strength through functional movements that serve real purposes. Your balance and coordination stay sharp because you're constantly navigating varied terrain and tasks. Compare this to modern life, where we sit for 8 to 10 hours, then try to make up for it with a brutal workout that leaves us exhausted. This pattern creates what researchers call active couch potatoes, people who exercise regularly but are sedentary the rest of the time. Studies show that even if you work out every day, prolonged sitting still increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and early death. Blue zone movement also serves multiple purposes beyond physical fitness. When a 90-year-old Sardinian tends his garden, he's not just exercising, he's producing food for his family, maintaining his independence, staying connected to the land, and preserving traditional knowledge. The movement has meaning beyond burning calories or building muscle. This integration of movement with purpose creates what psychologists call flow states, periods where you're completely absorbed in meaningful activity. These states reduce stress hormones, boost immune function, and create the kind of mental engagement that protects against cognitive decline. You can't get this from a treadmill or a fitness class, no matter how hard you work out. The metabolic benefits of natural movement are remarkable. Instead of short bursts of intense activity, followed by long periods of inactivity, blue zone residents maintain steady energy expenditure throughout the day. This keeps their blood sugar stable, their circulation flowing, and their muscles engaged. Their bodies never fully shut down into the sluggish state that comes with prolonged sitting. Here's what this means for your daily life. You don't need to join a gym or follow complicated workout routines. You need to redesign your environment to require more natural movement. Take stairs instead of elevators. Walk or bike for errands when possible. Garden. Cook from scratch. Clean your own house. Choose activities that serve real purposes while keeping your body active. The goal isn't to eliminate modern conveniences entirely. It's to understand that our bodies thrive on consistent, purposeful movement throughout the day. Blue zones prove that the fountain of youth isn't found in extreme fitness protocols. It's hidden in the simple act of staying gently active as a natural part of living. Now let's talk about what might be the most misunderstood aspect of blue zone longevity: their relationship with food. While we're obsessing over superfoods, macro counting, and the latest diet trends, blue zone populations follow eating patterns that would seem almost boring by modern standards. Yet, these simple approaches to food are quietly adding years to their lives. The most powerful principle comes from Okinawa: hara hachi but. This means eating until you're 80% full, then stopping. It sounds simple, but this practice alone can dramatically impact longevity. When you stop eating before you feel completely full, you reduce caloric intake by 10 to 20% without feeling deprived. Research shows that this mild caloric restriction activates longevity genes, reduces oxidative stress, and slows cellular aging. Blue zone diets are predominantly plant-based, but not in the way modern veganism promotes it. These populations eat what grows around them. Beans, whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and nuts make up 90 to 95% of their diet. Meat is consumed maybe once a week, and it's usually part of a celebration or special occasion. Fish appears more regularly in coastal blue zones, but it's never the centerpiece of every meal. Beans deserve special attention because they show up in every single blue zone. Okinawans eat soybeans. Sardinians eat fava beans and chickpeas. Costa Ricans eat black beans. And Greeks eat lentils and black-eyed peas. These aren't just protein sources. Beans are loaded with fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, complex carbohydrates that provide steady energy, and compounds that reduce inflammation. What's equally important is how blue zone populations eat. Meals are social events, not rushed fuel stops between activities. Families gather around tables, share stories, and take time to actually taste their food. This social eating triggers better digestion, increases satiety signals, and creates positive associations with nourishment. Here's where it gets interesting. Many blue zones include moderate alcohol consumption, particularly wine with meals. This isn't about getting drunk or using alcohol as stress relief. It's about small amounts consumed in social settings with food. The antioxidants in red wine might play a role, but the social ritual and relaxation probably matter more. The timing of meals also matters. Blue zone populations typically eat their largest meal in the morning or early afternoon, then have a light dinner. They don't snack constantly or eat late at night. This natural intermittent fasting gives their digestive systems time to rest and repair. So here's what actually creates longevity in blue zones. 3 simple pillars that work together. First, build genuine community connections and find your purpose beyond yourself. Second, move naturally throughout your day instead of cramming exercise into one session. Third, eat mostly plants. Stop before you're full and make meals social experiences. The beauty of blue zone wisdom is that it's not about perfection or extreme measures. Start with one small change today. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in months. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Eat dinner with your family without phones at the table. These aren't revolutionary biohacks. They're time-tested practices that add years to your life and life to your years.